Morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Morning.
Good morning, Jessica.
Well, if we get Joe Pat connected to the audio, I think we're all ready to go.
Everybody ready for Thanksgiving?
Yes.
God,
My kids are off the whole week.
That's fine. Are you going to travel, Scott, or are you sticking around?
Yes, my daughter's hosting this year, so I'll be going to Louisville, and we get family coming up from Nashville, so it'll be a big to-do.
Good. So you got a big Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, 6 grandkids under one roof.
Oh, well, that's a treat.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, good morning, Judge.
Hey, good morning, doll. Good to see
Why
you.
don't,
Just
why
saw you guys.
I was going to say, weren't we just on this Zoom for 2 hours last night? Scott, Jessica, we've been working on a racial reconciliation activity that was 6 weeks long and working undivided. And last night was the last 2-hour session of what has been 6 weeks of 2-hour sessions. So
Wow.
we've gotten to know each other via Zoom very well. So why don't we go ahead and call our meeting to order? And if the minutes could reflect that all commissioners are present and Mr. Parker has a proxy just for the time being. Let's see, we've got a reception for Dr. Hub pretty soon, don't we, Billy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's tomorrow. I think it's 4:30 to 6, if I recall correctly, at ECS.
Okay.
So yeah, he does not want any of this, but so we're trying to keep it as low key as we can. But yep, sure do. And then we got a board meeting tomorrow night. Masks are on the agenda, so that'll be fun, I'm sure. And then following that, I think he's got most of his days in, so I believe he might have a day or two after tomorrow. So.
All right. Well, your official moment actually arrived months ago, but the official moment is coming soon.
Yep.
Okay.
Billy, there's no takebacks, brother.
Yeah. I think we've been there for a while.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
But you can never leave. Oh, the wisdom. Okay. Scott, thank you for sharing screen. And if we could scroll up just a line or two. Of course, the minutes from our last meeting. Is there a motion for approval of those?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you,
I'll
Billy.
second the motion.
And seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Thank you. Minutes are approved. Item 4 on our agenda is that an audit report, Scott?
Yes, sir. We do have the audited financial statements. The audit is complete. We have the final report here. It was attached to the email I sent to all of you. Also, last week when it first became available, I went ahead and sent it to Gina, Michelle, and Stacy so they could have it as soon as it was available. I know Stacy is in the middle of the city's audit right now, so that she always likes to get that as soon as I can get it. So as always with these audit reports, I like to go to the most important thing here, which is no findings.
Good.
So it's a clean audit. That's what we're looking for. Always very happy with that. It was a very challenging audit this year, just due to all of the things that we've had going on here, moving to a new space, a lot of new vendors, all the money we spent with contractors, things of that nature. So it's a little more complicated than it normally is. Our opening conference, what was it, Jessica? 2 hours long?
So
I had to put together a timeline to kind of show them all the things we've had happen this year, but it was a very productive, very good audit. They were only on site for a week. And then, these days, most everything is uploaded to a digital portal, things of that nature. So anyway, you can look through all of that at your leisure. A couple of things here. One thing I always like to do is I put together from the schedule of receipts and remittances just kind of a high level summary here. This is on page 16, a little over $45 million in receipts for the year. Our operating budget was $799,457. And if you do the math on that, for every dollar in revenue we collect, 1.775 cents goes to pay all of the revenue commission operating expenses. And that's an all-in number. Every paperclip, rubber band, payroll, pension, contributions, the whole 9 yards. So we're happy to report revenue commission return on investment to the jurisdictions of 98.23%. That's what we bring to the table here with our operations. So I always like to point that out. Hope you find that helpful and that you're pleased with that performance.
Yeah, Scott, that's a number that we all should be aware of and talk about. I think that number summarizes a whole lot.
That's kind of the high level overview there of what the fiscal year end 6/30/2021 looked like. So one other thing, and it doesn't look like Michelle or Gina are on today, but I did want to mention there is a new standard with GASB. GASB is the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, GASB 87. And it's how we in state and local government handle our leases. This is the best 2-sentence statement I found on it. I was actually on an AGA webinar last week and someone from GASB was there. This essentially was an attempt to streamline this process. You typically have operating leases and capital leases. Well, they've tried to put them all under one, basically capitalizing most leases onto the balance sheet. So I don't want to get too far down in the weeds on accounting on this, but I know Michelle and Gina and Stacy, I just wanted them to know, and they'll see it in there. I've already told them as well. There's a lot of language in there about GASB 87 and how we're doing our leases now. So that was a change, and they put quite a bit of text if you look through the audit on that particular aspect of it. So
you're no longer just going to expense out those lease payments.
correct.
You've got to capitalize the entire lease.
Yes. And anyone, I think we have to have a motion to accept the audit. Does anyone have any questions before we do that?
Just one comment, Scott. It took me a number of years in this role to completely understand and appreciate how important the Revenue Commission's audit is. It's critical to the roll-up effect that we all have with our finances, and we make adjustments with our auditors based on Scott's audit. So it's a really important document that affects what all three of us do. So
yes, and there's also supplemental information sometimes we provide as well. Some of the working papers that are useful, I share those with Stacy and sometimes Gina and Michelle, and they ask. So as always, and what I told the ladies when I sent out the email last week, as always, if you need further information, let me know. I'm happy to help. Whatever helps make your audits go more smoothly, I'm happy to help in any way I can.
good. Any questions for Scott or Jessica about the fiscal year 21 audit?
No questions. Go ahead.
Well, I was just, if not, we'll accept a motion.
I'll make that motion to accept as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The audit is approved. Scott, do you have updated numbers for us on your relocation?
I do. And I'm still working with Stacy. As I mentioned, she's in the midst of her audit. So we're trying to get finality on this integration partners on the Voip thing. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But essentially what we'd initially projected was about $73,000. This was $72,296 is what we projected, but we went ahead and expensed $73,000. That was the payment that was deposited and split between the three jurisdictions. As it sits right now with everything in except the unresolved issue with Voip, we're about almost $21,000 over budget. The vast majority of that is supply chain cost increases that we absorbed over the last year. I'll go through it here with you category by category. The $144 here on office renovations, none of that is any of the contractors. They all came in miraculously right on budget. The $144 was an unanticipated cost. We had to call the electrician back in because we didn't realize that the cubicles that we bought, they're electrified, so they can plug in their calculators or whatever, and there's lighting under the overhead storage. They have to be hardwired into the wall per code. And so that was the cost of the electrician to come back out and wire all 3 cubicles hardwired into the wall, $144. The office security mods, again, that was right on the money. IT architecture here, we went over budget by $2,855. Most of that was because we had to have Sophisticity come out, VC3, essentially twice because the VPN tunnel didn't work out. We were having severe lag issues. And we wound up, the plan was to leave everything at the planning and zoning building, just build a VPN, maybe just have a firewall and some additional equipment at the new space. We wound up having to move everything over here. So we essentially had to pay Sophisticity and VC3 twice due to that. Again, the Voip Telecom issue, as of right now, we're $2,000 under budget on what was proposed there. After looking at it, I think perhaps their initial quote was a little high. I just think perhaps that may be the cause here. We're going to work through it and find out. I mean, it's been 7 months since we moved in, and that's the last time Chad was here. So I would have thought they would have billed us for the extra by now, but if there was any. So I just, I'm not quite sure that initial quote was as accurate. They probably overestimated, would be my guess. The moving vendors were $435 under budget. That was a bright spot. They wound up getting done a little more quickly than we thought they did. And then again, the big cost here is the new equipment and furnishings expense. That's $20,000, almost $500, and we'll do a little deeper dive into that. We go to this particular tab. We did wind up under budget on a desk, and that's because it was partially damaged in shipping, so we got a credit. Everything else was over a little bit, not huge amounts here, but most of these items were ordered early and were sitting in our lobby at planning and zoning in advance of the move. So a lot of this stuff was already over there. So we kind of dodged the bullet on some of the supply chain increases that we saw later on. Same thing with our appliances. Most of these well, all of them were delivered, the refrigerator anyway, even before the contractor set up once we took possession of the building. So we kind of got in under the wire there, a little more than we budgeted for. Not too bad. We did have to pay $49 for the ice maker kit on the freezer portion of the refrigerator. Didn't budget for that. And then I did buy the 3-year warranty on the refrigerator, and that has already paid for itself because they've already had to come out once and replace the seal on the freezer. So that was money well spent. We got another 2 years on that warranty. Cubicle walls, that really shot up. And initially, when we were budgeting for this, we were looking at about a 10-day turnaround to get those in. By the time we actually got the order in, it was up to 4 to 6 weeks, and it was 6 weeks before we got those tables. So that was a big one. And then here, the biggest cost here is, as I mentioned, some of the IT equipment. Again, initially, we were planning on just leaving everything over at planning and zoning and moving it over here. We were anticipating perhaps a firewall. We had to have some access points, a couple of UPSs, things of that nature. So that was a big cost. And again, just the cost of these items have just skyrocketed if you can get them. And then our final category here, other expenses, pretty much everything came in under budget on the budgeted items, but we had 3 items we hadn't budgeted for: 4 fire extinguishers for the building, the Knox box, which is mounted on the outside of the building for first responders, and our interior stenciling, where they put the Revenue Commission logo above the window in the taxpayer area, behind the window in the admin area, and then there's one in the conference room as well. So those were all just unbudgeted expenses. So again, these are all from the actual receipts, everything we brought in at this point. The only thing left to be finalized is the integration partners, Voip, install. I think the licenses are correct. There was some question about those. I think that's probably correct. It's really just the initial quote for all of the labor and setup that was involved. So any questions or comments on the reload budget as it currently sits?
I think you'll have a great place to work, and it's a big upgrade from what you had, and I think it makes for a more efficient department, and just the pluses. There's just so many pluses to mention, and glad you all have made this move.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We're loving every minute of it. It's a great space. Been great for morale. It's just wonderful. It's a shame you all have only been able to come over for one meeting. Hopefully we can change that sometime in the future, given our COVID situation, because it's really a great space. And we just really are really grateful for it every day we walk in the door. I don't think I'm overstating that, am I, Jessica?
No, we're very happy for the upgrade.
Pizza basement.
Sure does.
Okay. Are there any questions for Scott about that report? Very detailed. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
And apparently we have a couple of refunds to discuss.
We do. Refund A. This taxpayer had a net profit credit balance on school board tax going back a number of years. This is actually 2013. It was never resolved. And now there's been a corporate merger that has occurred. So this business will be merged into the new business's account. So this account needs to be closed. So this is just a kind of a mop-up operation here. They've requested this credit balance of $10,494.23 to be refunded. And after our audit review, we recommend that this be approved.
Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Judge. Is there a second? I'll second. I think the chair can do that, can't they, Andrew?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Okay. With the motion being made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Good. Hearing none, Scott, that refund is approved.
Thank you. We'll move on to the second one here. This is a net profit return for tax year 2020. It's $26,039.81. You can see the city county school split on this. This was due to an overestimated net profit tax deposits that the taxpayer again had carried forward going back several years, not quite to 2013. But with the net profit filing for 2020, they requested that accumulated credit balance be refunded in full. We did a complete audit review of the account, and again, we recommend that the commissioners approve this refund for $26,039.81.
Thank you. Is there a motion for that approval?
Sorry about that. I had a little snafu. I'm having to do this on phone today because I got a couple things I got to rush off to.
I understand that. That's okay, Billy. Thank you. Just glad you're able to stay with us. So is there a motion for approval of this refund?
I'll make that motion.
And second, Mr. Parker, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Hearing none, that is approved also. Our favorite agenda item, Scott, is general discussion.
Yes, and no board action required here. Kind of a brief one this month. It just covers October, but from the emails that I sent you earlier this month, TMMK has had a change in payroll providers, and they were not on the same schedule in getting this information in. It did wind up coming in on time, but the net effect of it was we had no TMMK payroll received in October, and we've had 2 received in November. So these numbers are way down, and that's because there was no TMMK payroll. So there's really not a fair year-over-year comparison there. So no point in belaboring that. Next month, the November numbers are going to be in the other direction because we had 2 payrolls instead of 1.
Yeah.
Our new and closed businesses, I've updated all this. At this time last year, we were at 824 new, and right now we're at 934 with 2 months to go. So it looks like we'll probably easily break 1,000 or get close to it. We're averaging 93 new businesses a month and averaging 61 closed. But as I mentioned last month, that's a bit of an anomaly. You can see we actually had 137 closed for the month of October. That is not businesses that are closing in this jurisdiction. These are accounts that, due to account maintenance, should have been closed a long time. Some of these are accounts that were administratively inactive, have been for a long time. So this is just cleaning up our accounts, is what this is. Don't be panicked that we're having a mass exodus of businesses. That is absolutely the opposite of what's actually happening here.
Yeah, that's a really helpful explanation of that, Scott.
That's not the case. So we got a very healthy 934 businesses registered with us. So nothing really new. They're kind of a boilerplate month for October. Any questions on any of this?
Judge, Billy, any questions from you all?
No, sir.
None from me. So are we down to our next meeting?
We are, and that is the week of Christmas. So we'll need to discuss that. Do you want to move it up a week? Sometimes we cancel it in December. Of course, we're on, all of our meetings are special called, so we could call a special call sometime in December if we need to. That's totally up to you all.
Judge, what council normally does is we'll go ahead and have our second November meeting, even though it's Thanksgiving week. We'll meet on the 22nd. But then we typically cancel our second council meeting in December, unless there's a need for an issue that pops up. So it would fit what the city does if we just canceled that meeting if we had no pressing business. I'm not sure what you'll do with the court.
We've rescheduled our that second December meeting to like the 22nd in the morning, because the courthouse is closed the 23rd and the 24th. I believe that's correct, Mayor.
Okay.
If there's no pressing business and we've canceled in the past this meeting, then I'm open to whatever the Revenue Commission, whatever you all want to do.
Yeah. Scott, are you comfortable from a management point of view if we did not have that meeting unless you had issues that you needed to call us together for?
Yes, that's fine. I mean, I know there's a lot of people taking vacation during this time, the last 2 weeks of December. So it's probably going to be tough. And a lot of times, as the judge mentioned, meetings are rescheduled and for morning hours. So I think it would be tough to do. And I think that's why in years past, depending on how it fell, we canceled it. So I've got no problem with that. We will be working on right now a mid-year budget adjustment, but that's something we could do a special call earlier in December or even early in January if we need to get that approved. So I don't really have anything other than what we would normally present that I would be presenting in December anyway. So it would be no problem for us to cancel, because I believe, Andrew, we're also closed Thursday and Friday, 23rd and 24th, correct? That's the city schedule. Yeah.
Okay. If the commissioners are comfortable, I'd be okay with a motion to cancel our December 22nd meeting unless a need arises for another called meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, depart from the meeting. Scott, thank you all. Jessica,
Thank you all.
thank you all.
Have a great holiday
Happy
season.
Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah, great holiday season, everybody.
Good Thanksgiving, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.